broadcasting school?
At broadcasting school. I got my name on a damn wall of that building, man.
With your bad self.
So
retired my microphone.
I went to a D3 school. They never. All right, back to the NFL. Drew Brees and the Saints head to Buffalo to take on Tyrod Taylor and the Buffalo Bills. The Saints have won 6 straight, while the Bills sit at 5-3. Drew Brees says they've got a tough task taking on Buffalo.
That's a defense that is very aggressive, makes a ton of plays. They're undefeated at home. You know, you watch the way they play at home, especially in that environment and crowd noise, and you know, they're playing with a ton of confidence right now. And there's such a well-coached defense that has created all kinds of plays, created all kinds of turnovers. They went out and made some acquisitions in the offseason, Micah Hyde and some draft picks, and to add to already a really salty defense. So, yeah, we got our work cut out for us.
Guys, it's pretty safe to say that the Bills and the Saints, 2 teams on their way up, 2 teams 5-3 and 62, great records, 2 teams no one's really talking about. No one's giving them any love at all.
Because no one saw it coming. I mean, period, point blank. Like the people thought the Bills were tanking before the year. Traded away Sammy Watkins. They thought they were trying to tear it down. Everyone thought the Saints, once again, were going to have good offense, terrible defense.
Terrible start.
So this is the second best game of the weekend. Cowboys-Falcons is the best matchup. This is the second best matchup. This has real implications. AFC wildcard implications, NFC number 1 seed or bye implications. I just want to say something about these New Orleans Saints, who I think will likely win this football game. The Saints, since week 2, they have the number 2 ranked defense in football. From week 2 on, during this winning streak, they haven't had a good defense. They've had a great defense. They are allowing 15 points per game from week 3 on, 265 yards per game from week 3 on. You can win games like that with Blake Bortles as your quarterback. That's how Jacksonville's been winning. Much with Drew Brees as your quarterback. Like, this Saints defense the last 6 games has been dominant, CC.
Sean McDermott's doing a great job in his first year in Buffalo, really changing the culture there after Rex Ryan. Micah Hyde, which Drew Brees mentioned, second in the NFL with 5 interceptions. But the truth of the matter is, Nick, it's right now, it's 21 degrees in Buffalo. Right now. On Sunday, it's going to be 42. All right. So Drew Brees, huge advantage for them to be able to run their offense compared to they don't have a great record in the cold. So I like New Orleans to get the win in Buffalo.
One thing to watch in this game, it will be the key to the game. Buffalo cannot win without turning the Saints over. In Buffalo's 5 wins, CC, they have 14 takeaways. 14 takeaways in 5 wins. It's almost 3 a game, obviously. Right. In their 3 losses, they only have 3 takeaways. So you've got to turn the Saints over. And one other note, Alvin Kamara, with the Deshaun Watson injury, with Kareem Hunt falling back a little bit, Alvin Kamara, friend of the show, making maybe a bit of a push for offensive rookie of the year.
That was a great trade when they got rid of Adrian to allow him to get more reps.
Absolutely right. Especially since Adrian's washed.
Moving on, the 6-2 Vikings taking on the 4-4 Redskins, he said under his breath so nobody could really hear. The Vikings are leading the NFC North despite being led by Case Keenum. Case Keenum! Why aren't people taking the Vikings seriously, CC?
Well, they've had a lot of injuries. I mean, Sam Bradford, he almost died from a bone bruise to his leg.
Every time.
But this is a much improved team. Why aren't people taking them serious? They lost their probably going to be a Pro Bowl running back in Dalvin Cook, the rookie from Florida State. All right, they lost Sam Bradford. Some of the same things. We thought that they would have a top 5 defense. Their wide receivers, Stephon Diggs has missed a little bit of times, but they've been very, very productive. This is a good Vikings team. This is a big game for them. If the Vikings can get through Washington and get to 7-2, they've already activated Teddy Bridgewater. He might be ready for action, not necessarily this weekend, but he might come back next weekend. The Vikings could maybe roll all the way and have home field advantage if Philadelphia slips, because you don't believe in Philadelphia.
Correct.
All right. The team that would be there to grab it would be the Minnesota Vikings.
Right. Or the team we just talked about in the New Orleans Saints. The Vikings are doing this with good enough offense and dominant defense.
Yes.
I mean, they have stars at every level of their defense. I want to key in on one guy, Everson Griffin. Everson Griffin is just the 3rd player since sacks became a stat to have at least 1 sack in the first 8 games of a season. He's had at least one sack every game this year. So he's going to get after Kirk Cousins, especially with the banged-up offensive line Washington has. Washington, I think, has the personnel to be a playoff team, but injuries have killed them. Some bad luck in a few games has killed them. They ended up getting some of the luck back last week when they beat Seattle. I think this is a bit of a mismatch this week. I think Minnesota is clearly the better team, and I got to give credit. Jenna, you asked why no one's taking the Vikings seriously. It's because of Casey Keenum. I mean, people don't know his name. It's actually Case Keenum, but people call him Casey Keenum. He's a guy that was a dominant college player at Houston, running a gimmick offense, has bounced around the league since then. People don't think you can be a legitimate team with him at quarterback, but he's played well this year.
I got to tell you, and I don't even know how you would feel about this, Vikings win this game and Teddy Bridgewater's fine, I go with Case Keenum again. And I keep going with Case Keenum. He's won it for him.
You've got a ceiling with him, though. Like, I give Case credit because he hasn't wrecked their season the way we're seeing certain seasons get wrecked by bad quarterback play. But Teddy Bridgewater, you want to, if he is the guy he was pre-injury, then all of a sudden this team really becomes a true Super Bowl threat.
Well, also Case Keenum becomes an asset. Jen, I do hear your point, though, because the team does have momentum. And
that's
typically, when you put the backup in there and they're able to maintain the momentum, now it's not as if Teddy was the starter. Teddy was injured and was the third teamer. So Bradford was first, Keenum was second, and now Teddy's coming back from a horrific injury. The thing about it is this organization is led by Teddy Bridgewater. So Case is going to have to keep playing at a high level to keep that job.
And go ahead.
What's the one thing I've learned on this show more than anything since we started is a win is a win is a win, and you take that win no matter how big it is, no matter how emotional it is, whatever it is, you walk away from Sunday with that W. And you have a guy that's been giving you the W. I just say don't fix.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be in a hurry to pull him because he has done well.
Yeah,
to your point.
One note for the Vikings when you're looking at them the rest of the way. No team in the league has an easier final 3 games of the season. Cincinnati, at a broken Green Bay team, and then home for Chicago. So if they are sitting, as you're mentioning, at 10-3, right now being 6-2, you can almost pencil them in for 13-3. Those last 3 weeks of the year, so however impressive their record looks now, expected to get much better at the end of the year.
And Jenna, if the Vikings make it to the Super Bowl, we're going to have a pocket full of what?
So I think it's Posey, but you think it's
money, a pocket.
The Super Bowl's there. We can do appearances, Jenna. We can make some extra money in Minnesota.
Do one of these wonderful servicemen want to fill in for Jenna Wolf the rest of the way?
If I told you a pocket full of
money.
No, the expression is pocket full of Posey.
I got to come back.
I've never had a pocket full of money before. Welcome back to the show, Nick.
Thanks, Jenna.
Coming up, Ezekiel Elliott's suspension is back on. He did try. He always tries.
I put it right
he
in the rim.
He flips it up.
I'm talking about it's in the rim. All you got to do is just do like this.
First.